What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another Manchester City video, where today we're going to be doing a Manchester City transfer update. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, you want to help to support the future content created here on my channel, then do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Sofascore. Sofascore are going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores and information from around the grounds. They'll keep you up to date with the latest team news. They'll keep you up to date with the latest statistics. They'll keep you up to date with the latest match information, including who the referee is going to be for the game, what channel the game's been broadcast on in your country. It's not just limited to football, by the way. It's got you guys covered with all the scores and information for all the sports that you want to go and follow. So do go and check out Sofascore. It is a free app to download, very highly rated, and anyone that does download using my link in the description or the QR code on screen does help to support the future content created here on my channel, and a big thank you to Sofascore for sponsoring today's video. So first player I want to speak about is Scott Carson in today's transfer update, as he obviously left Manchester City in the summer transfer window. He's been looking for a club ever since, and Scott Carson has now announced his retirement from professional football. He left Man City when his contract expired. Scott is now 40 years old. He can enjoy the rest of his retirement doing whatever he pleases. I do wonder if he may be tempted to go into coaching, and it might not be the last that we hear of Scott Carson. He may want to go and be a goalkeeping coach or do another role or start getting his badges and stuff, or he may just want to take it easy and put his feet up and relax with his family. We'll see what does happen and what the future does hold, but wishing Scott the very best of luck for the future. I am still jealous that he was earning £34,000 a week at Manchester City to act as the third choice keeper, to be an influence around the first team, and what a job and what a man. Cult hero, if you ask me, just for how he behaved at Man City's away game against Atletico Madrid that time. Sits very fondly in my memory, offering out the Atletico players for a fight in the club car park. Fantastic stuff. So best of luck and happy retirement to Scott Carson. So moving on to the outs, we've got the very latest on Mateo Kovacic, and this is interesting and something that I am going to be keeping my eyes on ahead of the January transfer window. So Caught Offside has said that Kovacic could be leaving Man City in the January transfer window. He's 31 years old. Now, don't be surprised ahead of a big World Cup year in the summer of 2026 to see Manchester City players who maybe aren't getting that many minutes being told by their national country's manager that they need these players to be getting regular minutes so they're in tip-top shape ahead of the World Cup. Otherwise, they're going to be risked getting cut from the national team and not going to the World Cup. In particular, I'm looking here at Kovacic struggling for minutes, and obviously a Croatian international. I'm looking at Nathan Ake as well, because Netherlands managers already told Nathan Ake if he's not going to be playing on a regular basis, then he's not going to the World Cup. So Nathan Ake needs to think about his minutes between now and the January transfer window, and if he's not getting a regular spot in the City squad, same with Kovacic, I can see these players assessing their futures in January, and potentially Kovacic and or Nathan Ake, maybe even other players as well, leaving Man City. We saw that in the summer transfer window. Jack Grealish wanted regular playing time to stand the best chance of going to the World Cup with England. Same with Kovacic with Croatia. Same with Nathan Ake with the Netherlands as well. And that is something that City do need to seriously think about in terms of letting players go who want to leave, and also will affect potential recruitment for players being brought in as well. So World Cup year coming up with Croatia. It's going to be very important that Kovacic tries and nails down a regular starting spot. If it's not going to be with Man City, then it's got to be somewhere else. City apparently open to offers for Kovacic. No talks in place right now with any of the teams, but Kovacic is being linked with the exit door. Now, Kovacic has just 1.5 years left on his City contract in January, and with his contract expiring in June of 2027, and he's 31 years old, I don't think City would accumulate all that much money, but there are clubs that have already declared their interest. West Ham United and Aston Villa from the Premier League are interested. Villarreal and Real Betis from Spain are also interested. It's thought, though, that AC Milan in Italy are the club most keen on signing Mateo Kovacic. So what Kovacic now needs to decide is he going to get much more playing time with AC Milan, and are they going to give him his guaranteed starts and regular minutes so he can go to the World Cup with Croatia? Don't underestimate how many players' dreams it is to go to the World Cup with their country, to represent their country and have an influence on the biggest football competition in the world. This is going to have an impact at Man City in the January transfer window. It'll have an impact across the whole of the Premier League, across England and across Europe and across the globe as well, because it's a global competition. And it is definitely something that I am going to be keeping my eyes and ears open for. As I said, Kovacic, Nathan Ake, maybe some other players will be assessing their futures. So we'll see what does happen between now and the January transfer window. And if these players aren't regular starters with City and getting regular minutes, I can maybe see them leaving. So we'll see what does happen. Now, moving on to the ins, one player to speak about comes in the form of a new name, and it is Arda Guler from Real Madrid. Now, he's a 20-year-old Turkish attacking midfielder. Seems like he's been around forever. He's not been around forever, and he's only 20 years old. He's one of them, high-quality, fantastic young players who obviously developed from a very early age in the footballing world, and they just seem like they've been around for years, yet you forget how young they actually are. I look towards the likes of Erling Haaland and Phil Foden, and it seems like we've been speaking about them for years, and we have, and it's just that, these were players that were excelling when they were still teenagers. So because that's the case, you start to hear more and more about them, and they're developing really nicely, and Arda Guler developing really nicely with Real Madrid to a point now that he's being linked with a big money move elsewhere. So apparently, according to Teamtalk, they're saying that Man City are interested in Güler as a potential replacement for Bernardo Silva, who Man City are more than likely not going to renew his contract, so he will leave in at the summer transfer window. So this would be something that we look at next summer rather than in the January transfer window. Now, Teamtalk, very interested in this, have said that he's got a release clause of around £130 million. I couldn't find any official articles that were giving me any information on what his Real Madrid release clause is. All I can find about Arda Guler is Real Madrid are working really hard to try and extend his contract, working on a 2-year extension to his current deal. His current deal expires in June of 2029, so they're looking at a 2-year extension. If he ends up signing that this year, that would be near enough looking at a 5.5-year new contract for Arda Guler at Real Madrid, and he's looking for a much bigger wage, a wage that reflects his importance to Real Madrid. And if that contract isn't signed, then he would be looking for a big money move elsewhere, and Real Madrid would be able to accumulate a lot of money for the high-quality Turkish attacking midfielder, but we'll see what does happen. I suspect what the angle is here is Güler's excelling and doing really well at Real Madrid. I think it'd be crazy to contemplate right now leaving Real Madrid, and Manchester City, and I'm sure other names will be put out there as well, are being used as a bargaining tool by Güler's camp to rush Real Madrid along to get him onto a new contract and get him more money as well. And I do feel like his release clause will have been set by Real Madrid because he was a teenager when they brought him in from Turkey. They don't know what the future is going to hold, so I'm not too sure if it would be set at £130 million. It seems a very excessive number for a young player to have been brought in to Real Madrid back in 2023, but it also isn't uncommon for high-quality young players who are deemed as world-class players being put on massive release clauses, even set at €1 billion. So we'll wait and see and get more clarification on this. I do feel like City's name here is being used to get Güler a better deal at Real Madrid and to get Real Madrid to pay them more money and to speed through this new contract that hasn't been signed. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if things aren't accelerating at any point between now and the summer transfer window. You'd be looking at a player that's got 3 years left on his contract, a player that's 20 years old right now, a high-quality player who could be available for, I don't know if it's going to be £130 million, but it could be a deal that could well be struck between one club and Real Madrid if the player feels like he can get a better deal elsewhere. I wouldn't recommend that, and I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. The next big question would be, in terms of this transfer, would Real Madrid be willing to let a player leave them to join Manchester City and join a club in the Premier League who they'd regard as a potential European threat when it comes to winning the Champions League? And also, I don't think it'd go down very well with the Chiefs at La Liga, losing a high-quality, top-class young player to the Premier League as well. So everything seems to be pointing towards Güler staying at Real Madrid, and that's what I think is going to happen. I just think City's name's here to get him a better deal. But if things don't start to accelerate, if things don't start to move, if things don't happen, I wouldn't be surprised to see City and lots of other big European clubs joining the queue to potentially bring in Arda Guler. We'll see what does happen. I'm not entirely convinced on this, but I'd love to know your thoughts of this in the comments below. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up. Let's go for 200 likes. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date every single day with all the latest City content here on YouTube, so do subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links are in the description as well if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Sofascore. And I'll see you all again real soon for the next City video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.